just got a little bit left, but people have been asking what we did. So scraping this off, the angle you hold the knife makes the biggest difference. I like these snap blade knives because they'll flex just a little bit so I can twist on them. And sometimes they pop, that's all right. Buy a whole box of blades, they come like 20 or whatever in a pack. But she's already got part of the edge off. So first I'd come along the edge, cut that, and then just get enough of the blade out there so you can use it to flex. And come along and scrape off the edges. And the angle that you hold the knife is going to help it either cut or dig into the aluminum. So then once you got that part done, ours has this little seam cap, and what we're trying to do is seal both sides of these. So this isn't flat, so this one I'm going to come at it this way. And I can peel that off as I go. And then when I get to the other side of the ridge, I can turn my knife the other way. And like when I get to where the weld is, don't push so hard. Kind of let your knife blade float over top and around that weld. And then you can peel that up as you go. And when it gets to where your knife blade's not cutting it anymore, snap it off and get a new one. Don't waste your time trying to cut that stuff with a dull blade. Little Brillo scrubby pads, paper towels, scrub brush could help you if you want, and a little razor blade. Now the better job you did with your knife cleaning this off, the easier this part's going to be. So you're just going to kind of soak it, get it wet, and scrub it as hard as you can to get all them little pieces off. Now, when you get this dirt all, see how that dirt is all cleaned up and coming loose? Then you're going to have to alcohol wipe that and clean that off to get that all clean. That's the most important part, is getting that stuff all cleaned off out of there so your caulking sticks. So you would alcohol wipe that, and then you come back and dry wipe that once you get a ways. But you could do a bunch of this first, get it all scrubbed off with this, and you can alcohol wipe a big stretch, come back and wipe that off. And then what we're going to do is we're going to run a piece of masking tape here on this edge and here on this edge, and then we're going to pump the caulking and tool it across that.
Okay, so you are taping off the area that you need to put the caulk on, right?
If you want a straight line.
If you want a straight line.
If it's a straight line, don't matter, just smear it on there.
Okay. And just to explain what we did is, after removing all of the old caulk and tape, we scraped it all off with the knives, and then we went over with the isopropyl alcohol and the green scrubbies, and we scrubbed off even more of the residue, scraped as much as we could, and then we went over it one last time with paper towel with the alcohol on, and then dried it off. And then we had the hay pod here, so that was pretty horrible to access, and so it's not quite as well done under the slats of the hay pod, but we got as much of the old stuff off as we could. Because the new stuff and the old stuff is silicone, it should all bond. You've got to do the silicone to silicone. Right, there you go.
The nice thing about working with silicone is silicone bonds to most things. If you have a urethane product and there's silicone down there, you got to get 100% of it off, because urethane won't usually bond to the silicone. But silicone will a lot of times stick to the urethane if you do a good job cleaning it.
Okay. So Mike just wants to point out that he is a glazier. He does commercial windows and doors, and so he works with silicone and sealants and taping all day, every day. And so he does have the knowledge to back up what we're doing. Otherwise, if you're not sure about this, I would have a professional do it. Music's appropriate. I hurt myself today. This hay pod, it wants to attack you in every way possible. It's got sharp edges. It's uncomfortable to kneel on. Mike and I have been wearing knee pads, which has helped a little bit, but this thing is horrible. Okay, so you can see the strip that we've applied goes well over either side, and he's been pretty generous with applying it and he used a little kind of trowel to help smear the sealant over the edges and kind of smooth it down. It doesn't have to be perfect, but it just has to be covering all the seam. The biggest thing is the surface prep. It doesn't matter what the sealant looks like, but it has to be able to adhere, and so that's why surface prep is so important. And just to explain, Mike is using an assault style caulking gun.
No,
this is
bulk gun.
one for heavy duty caulking and high impact caulking.
When you do this commercially, you should get, they're called a chub or a sausage tube. This is about equivalent to 5 your little cartridge gun tubes.
But you can use the regular cartridge gun tubes.
Yeah, it's the same product.
But
You're just gonna look for Dowsil 791.
yeah, don't use the kind of silicone that you use on kitchens and bathrooms.
It won't hold up. It'll blow right off. The water will get under. It's not gonna.
It's not good. They use the correct product and spend a little bit extra money to do it right.
This is specifically designed for aluminum and concrete and stuff like that.
Okay. Once you've put the caulk on there, what do you use to spread it out?
I use a caulking tool, which basically is a lot like a cake decorating spatula. You can use whatever you want. You could use your fingers if you wanted to, but I don't recommend it. It makes a bad mess.
It's pretty gross. Well, then you're going to end up with everything covered in caulk. So it's like
Basically like a cake decorating spatula.
Okay.
You're just going to rub this back and forth like you'd be decorating cake.
So I'm kind of smearing it on there like cream cheese.
Smear.
Smear. You have
Smear
to smear
tastic,
it.
like the commercial.
Yeah, you have to smear. So another important thing is, as soon as you've got your caulk spread out, pull the tape off. Do not leave the tape to dry with the caulk. And in this weather, we're kind of sunny and windy, the caulk's setting up really quickly. If you leave the caulk on, what happens? If you leave the tape on, what happens?
The caulking will stick to the tape, and when you peel your tape up, the part underneath it's not cured yet. It'll peel up with the top part that's starting to.
Uh-oh, and that would be a disaster.
Just makes a mess.
Yeah.
Do this 24 hours before you're going to have a rain on it.
Ideally do it, but it's Oregon, so we have rain in the forecast. It is what it is. Hopefully it'll set up enough.
It's warm weather, it'll set.
Yeah, definitely. All right.
Then I'm going to peel this, but I'm not going to peel it past where my caulking is. So when I get to the edge here, Claire will get the video or get the thing down so she can see.
So you're going to peel the tape off where you've caulked.
You see where my caulking ends right there? I'm going to break this before that.
Okay.
So I don't have to worry if I smear past that. So now when I do that next stretch, I don't have to worry about it missing that.
And you use the palette knife to push against the tape so it snaps the tape easily.
Yes. I'm not cutting the tape with this, I'm just holding it so the tape breaks where I want it to break.
Right, and you don't end up peeling off too much.
Yes. No, probably 3 cases of 12.
Okay, so I was just asking Mike how many tubes of the sealant that we've probably gone through and used. So how many would it be, like the regular style ones?
So this trailer is basically a 3-horse living quarters horse trailer. It's a 30-foot trailer on the ground. It's longer on the tops. To go down and back, I've used 5. I'll have used 6 sausage tubes by the time I'm done, and each one of those is like 5 cartridges.
Of the regular style ones.
So that's 30 tubes. So if there's 12 in a case, that's like 4 or more cases of caulking you're going to need.
So, and you're better off having too much than not enough.
If you haven't used it, you can take it back to the store.
Yeah.
So you're better off buying it.
And what color options do you have?
Dowsil, we're using white. It comes in gray, black, bronze, limestone. There's a whole bunch of them.
But white, grey and black are probably going to be the most common that you'd use on a trailer, unless you...
I'd probably go with the white or the gray if you got an aluminum trailer.
Yeah. Okay.
That's just my opinion.
Nice.